There is something most men are never told. When a woman is getting to know you, she is not primarily listening to what you say. She is watching who you become when you don't realize you're being observed. This is not manipulation. This is not a game. From a psychological perspective, especially through the lens of Carl Jung, this is instinct. Human beings evolved to read character long before language became refined. And women, in particular, tend to assess safety, stability, and psychological maturity through subtle signals rather than direct questions. So, when men ask, "Why did she lose interest?" or "Why did things suddenly change?" the answer is often uncomfortable. She learned something about your character that you never meant to reveal. Today, we'll explore the 3 hidden tests many women unconsciously use, not to judge your worth, but to understand who you really are beneath the persona. And the word persona matters here. Jung described the persona as the social mask, the version of ourselves we present to be accepted. In early attraction, most men are operating almost entirely from this mask, confident, agreeable, controlled. But attraction does not deepen at the level of the persona. It deepens when the mask slips. The first test is designed to see what happens when it does. Test 1. How you handle loss of control. This test usually appears early, and most men never recognize it. It may look like this. Plans change at the last minute. A message goes unanswered longer than expected. She disagrees with you publicly. She challenges a small assumption you make. On the surface, these moments seem insignificant, but psychologically, they create a tiny rupture in your sense of control. And that rupture reveals something crucial. Jung believed that what we cannot control tends to activate the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress, because they don't fit our self-image. So the question she is unconsciously asking is not, will he always get his way? It is, what emerges from him when he doesn't? Does irritation leak out through sarcasm? Does passive aggression replace calm communication? Does charm turn into withdrawal, guilt-tripping, or subtle punishment? Or does nothing dramatic happen at all? The man who passes this test does not perform patience. He embodies it. He does not rush to reassert dominance or seek reassurance. He stays internally stable. And this stability signals something deeper than confidence. It signals self-regulation. From an evolutionary and psychological standpoint, self-regulation equals safety. Not excitement, not intensity. Safety. Many men fail this test because they mistake it for disrespect. But most of the time, it is not a test of power. It is a test of emotional adulthood. Test 2. How you respond to emotional vulnerability. This test often comes later, when attraction has already formed. She may share a personal story, a fear, a past wound, a moment of shame or uncertainty. What she is watching in that moment is not your advice, not your solutions, not your strength. She is watching whether you can tolerate emotional depth without needing to control it. Jung wrote that many people confuse strength with rigidity, but psychologically mature strength is flexible. It can sit with discomfort without trying to fix, dismiss, or dominate it. Here is where many well-intentioned men fail. They interrupt vulnerability with logic. They minimize pain with optimism. They rush to solve something that was never a problem to begin with. And unconsciously, this communicates, I am uncomfortable with emotions I cannot manage. For a woman, this raises a quiet but serious concern. If I am at my lowest, will he still be present, or will I become too much? Passing this test does not require perfect words. It requires presence, silence without withdrawal, attention without ownership. The man who passes this test does not absorb her emotions as his responsibility, nor does he distance himself to stay comfortable. He remains grounded. This signals psychological capacity, the ability to hold space without losing oneself. In Jungian terms, this reflects partial integration of the anima, the inner capacity to relate to feeling without fear or contempt. Pause point. Up to this point, notice something important. None of these tests are about dominance, money, or status. They are about regulation, presence, and depth. Which brings us to the third and most revealing test. This is the one that determines whether attraction matures or collapses. Part 2. Test 3. How you handle her autonomy. This test is subtle, long-term, and decisive. It emerges when a woman begins to assert her independence. She prioritizes her work. She maintains friendships. She sets a boundary. She says no without explanation. And what she is observing is not whether you agree. She is observing whether your sense of self survives her autonomy. Jung warned that immature relationships are often built on unconscious dependency. Two incomplete selves clinging to each other to avoid inner emptiness. In such dynamics, autonomy feels like abandonment. So when a man reacts to her independence with control, jealousy, or emotional pressure, it reveals something critical. His identity is relationally fragile. Passing this test does not mean emotional distance. It means differentiation, the ability to stay connected without possession. The man who passes this test does not compete with her life. He is not threatened by it. He has his own center of gravity. And this creates a paradox. The less he needs to control the bond, the safer it feels. The safer it feels, the deeper it goes. Why these tests exist? From a depth psychological perspective, these tests are not conscious strategies. They are expressions of instinct. They are attempts to answer ancient questions. Is this person emotionally stable? Can he handle complexity? Will I lose myself or be safe in connection with him? When men fail these tests, they often believe they were rejected for superficial reasons. But most of the time, attraction didn't disappear. Trust did. The final truth. Here is the part rarely said aloud. These tests are not only given by women. Men give them too, just in different forms. But because men are often discouraged from emotional self-reflection, they experience these moments as confusion rather than information. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming whole, requires awareness of our unconscious reactions. Every failed test is feedback. Not about being good or bad, but about where growth is needed. The man who understands this stops trying to perform character. He develops it. And when that happens, these tests no longer feel like threats. They feel like mirrors. End note for the viewer. If this resonated, sit with it. Not to judge yourself, but to observe. Because the moment you can see your reactions clearly, they stop controlling you. The final stage is reflection and growth. Once you recognize these tests, the goal is not to perform, but to cultivate character that naturally passes them. Step 1. Observe your reactions. Every irritation, every impulse to control, every fear that surfaces is data. It is a mirror of your inner world. Step 2. Practice self-regulation. Meditation, journaling, or even deliberate pauses in conversation help you respond rather than react. Jung emphasized that awareness is the key to transforming the shadow. Step 3. Cultivate emotional presence. Listen fully. Hold space. Learn to tolerate not having to fix everything. Being emotionally available is a rare form of strength. Step 4. Embrace differentiation. Your sense of self must be independent yet relational. Strength grows when connection is voluntary, not forced. The paradox is clear. Freedom within boundaries creates deeper trust. Step 5. Reflect on outcomes without judgment. Every test is feedback, not condemnation. Growth comes from understanding your reactions, not suppressing them. When these lessons are integrated, attraction transforms. Relationships move from superficial charm to authentic connection. The energy shifts from seeking approval to radiating safety, stability, and depth. Final reflection. These hidden tests are not tricks or manipulations. They are nature's way of revealing character. Men who understand and embody these principles move beyond performance. They develop presence, emotional maturity, and resilience. In Jungian terms, individuation, the process of becoming whole, requires confronting your shadow, tolerating uncertainty, and embracing autonomy, both your own and others. This is the foundation of lasting, meaningful relationships. If this resonates, take a moment. Observe yourself without judgment. Notice how you respond under pressure, in vulnerability, and when boundaries are set. The awareness alone transforms you. When you can see your reactions clearly, they stop controlling you. You stop performing. You become a man whose presence is steady, whose connection is authentic, and whose character speaks without words. Women don't just watch how you feel, they notice how you act. This is the second hidden test: integrity and consistency. It's quiet, subtle, but it reveals your true character. Do you follow through on your promises, no matter how small? Do your actions match your words? Or do you say one thing and do another? Consistency matters more than charm, gifts, or grand gestures. She notices patterns. The way you treat friends, strangers, even the people she loves. Do you keep commitments, honor boundaries, take responsibility? Or do you make excuses, blame others, or cut corners? Jungian psychology calls this shadow work. When you ignore your own patterns, act impulsively, or hide truth, your shadow emerges. Women sense it immediately, even unconsciously. Integrity isn't performative, it's habitual. It's built into your daily choices. Real examples. She asks for a small favor. You promise. Do you follow through, or let it slide? She shares a personal confidence. Do you respect it or gossip? She tests your honesty in tiny ways. Can you be truthful even when it's uncomfortable? Lessons for men. Observe your actions. Do they align with your words? Commit to honesty, even in small things. Consistency builds trust. Without it, emotional awareness isn't enough. Your character is revealed over time, not in a single moment. Integrity is not about perfection. It's about conscious choices, accountability, and aligning your actions with your values. Consistency is proof of your inner maturity. Women aren't trying to trap you. They're sensing whether you are trustworthy, reliable, and grounded. Master this test, and you show that your character is stable, authentic, and capable of lasting connection. The hidden test is subtle, but it's one of the most revealing. It's all about respect and boundary recognition. Women watch how you respond to their individuality, how you honor their space, choices, and limits. Do you push when she says no? Do you pressure or manipulate? Or do you accept her decisions with patience and understanding? Respect is not optional, it's a mirror of your character. She notices how you treat the people around her, your friends, your family, strangers. Do you show courtesy and consideration, even when no one is watching? Your response to others reflects how you will treat her in moments that truly matter. Subtle tests include how you react to disagreements, whether you respect her time and personal space, how you handle her independence and ambitions. Jungian psychology tells us relationships are mirrors. When you honor boundaries, you demonstrate self-awareness and inner strength. When you ignore them, your shadow ego, insecurity, or control shows through. She can sense it immediately. Real examples. She says she needs time alone. Do you respect it or complain? She sets a personal limit. Do you honor it or push past it? She shares a boundary in conversation. Do you listen or dismiss it? Lessons for men. Respect her autonomy. Your approval is not required for her choices. Notice boundaries, verbal and unspoken. Respond with empathy. Avoid control. True connection comes from freedom, not pressure. Practice awareness. Your ability to respect limits reflects maturity. Respect and boundaries are not weakness, they are the ultimate test of character. Women are not trying to trap or challenge you. They are assessing whether you are trustworthy, conscious, and capable of a partnership built on equality and mutual regard. Master this test, and you reveal a man who is grounded,